There are messages you're supposed to ignore. Random notifications, unknown profiles, things that show up at 2 in the morning that don't really make sense. Most of the time, they're nothing, just people being weird. But sometimes, the message knows something it shouldn't. And once you read it, you realize you were never alone in the first place. I woke up at 2:43 in the morning because my phone buzzed, just once. Short, quiet. But in the middle of the night, it felt loud enough to pull me out of sleep instantly. I didn't move right away. I was just lying there, staring into the dark, trying to understand why I was awake. Then it buzzed again. That second vibration, that's what made me reach for it. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand and looked at the screen. One new message from Tinder. I frowned. That didn't make sense. I hadn't been using the app that night. I unlocked my phone and opened it. There was a new match. Name, Lena. No bio, no distance, no shared interests. Just one photo. A normal picture. A girl smiling at the camera. Nothing strange, nothing that stood out. If anything, it looked too normal. Then I opened the message. I can see you. I stared at it for a few seconds, trying to process it. Then I exhaled slowly. Probably a joke. People send weird messages all the time, especially late at night. I typed back, "See me where?" The typing bubble appeared instantly, no delay, like they were already waiting for me to respond. "In your room." That's when something shifted, just slightly. I sat up in my bed, slowly. My room was completely dark, except for the faint blue light coming from my phone. I looked around. My desk, my chair, my door, closed. Everything exactly the way it should be. I typed again. Very funny. There was a short pause, longer than before. Then another message came through. "You should close your window." I froze. My window was behind me, and I hadn't even looked at it yet. For a few seconds, I didn't move. I just sat there. Then slowly, I turned my head. The curtain was slightly open, just enough to see part of the glass. Beyond it, nothing, just darkness. I kept staring at it, waiting for something to move, something to prove this was just a joke. Nothing did. My grip on the phone tightened. "This isn't funny. Who is this?" The typing bubble came back instantly. "You left it open earlier." A cold feeling settled in my chest, because that part was true. I had opened the window earlier. The room was hot. I needed air. But I was sure I closed it before going to bed. I knew I did. I got out of bed slowly, careful not to make too much noise. Every step felt louder than it should have, like the room was amplifying everything. I moved toward the window. The floor creaked under my foot. I stopped immediately, listened. Nothing. No movement. No sound. Just silence. I reached the curtain and pulled it open quickly. Nothing. No one outside. Just the empty street. A flickering streetlight. Parked cars. Stillness. I checked the window. Locked. Completely locked. I stepped back, trying to think, trying to stay rational. This had to be someone messing with me. Someone who knew me. Maybe a friend. I picked up my phone again. "Who told you that?" No answer. I waited. A few seconds. Then longer. Then the phone buzzed again. "I liked your shirt today." My stomach dropped. I hadn't posted anything. No stories, no pictures, nothing. And I hadn't gone anywhere unusual. Just work, then home. Same routine, same streets. I typed slower this time. "Where did you see me?" The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, came back again. Then the message came through. "Outside your building." I stood there for a second, then walked to my bedroom door and opened it.
The hallway was dark, quiet. I stepped out and checked the front door, locked, chain still in place, exactly how I left it. I stood there listening, hoping to hear something, anything. Nothing. No footsteps, no movement, no sound at all. I went back into my room, closed the door, and that's when my phone buzzed again. Don't turn the lights on. I stopped breathing. My hand was right next to the switch. I hadn't touched it yet. Slowly, I lowered my hand and looked around my room again. Everything felt different now. Not empty, not quiet. Watched, like something was there or had been there. I swallowed. Who are you? The phone buzzed again. Look at the window. I didn't want to. Every instinct told me not to look, but I did anyway. Slowly, I turned my head. The curtain was moving, just slightly, like something had brushed against it, or like something was standing too close to it. I stared, frozen, and then I saw it. A shape on the other side of the glass, not clear, not fully visible, but there, standing close, too close. My phone buzzed again. I told you. Something in my chest dropped instantly. I let go of the phone. It hit the floor. The sound felt too loud, too sharp, but the shape didn't move, didn't react. It just stayed there, watching. I took a step back, then another, not taking my eyes off the window. My breathing was louder now, my chest tight. I reached behind me, found the door handle, opened it, and stepped into the hallway. Then I ran straight to the front door, unlocked it, pulled it open, and got out. I didn't stop running until I reached the end of the street. Only then did I turn around. My building looked normal, dark, quiet, nothing unusual, like nothing had happened. I stood there for a long time, trying to understand what I had just seen. My phone was still inside. I didn't go back that night. I stayed at a friend's place, didn't explain everything, just said I didn't feel safe. The next morning, I went back, slowly, carefully. The front door was still locked. Everything looked normal, too normal. I walked into my room. The window was closed. The curtain was still. No sign of anything. I picked up my phone from the floor. One last message, sent at 3:01 a.m. You left. I opened Tinder again. The match was gone. No profile, no chat, nothing, like it never existed. I deleted the app that same day. I moved out 2 weeks later. Different place, different routine, different everything. But sometimes, late at night, when my phone buzzes unexpectedly, I don't check it right away. I just stare at the screen for a few seconds, because part of me still wonders if that profile ever really disappeared, or if it's just waiting until the next time I'm alone.
There are people you meet online, and then there are people who already know you. You just don't realize it yet. I matched with her on a Tuesday night. Her name was Maya. Her profile looked normal, maybe a little too normal. Good pictures, simple bio, nothing that stood out, but something about it felt easy, like we clicked instantly. We started talking right away. No awkward phase, no small talk, just smooth. She asked normal questions at first, where I worked, what I studied, what I usually did after work, basic stuff. I didn't think anything of it. I answered like I always do. Then she asked something slightly different. What street do you live on? I paused, not because it was strange, but because it felt early. I laughed it off. Why? She replied almost instantly. Just curious. I like knowing where people are from. I didn't answer that one. I changed the subject, and she didn't push, which made it feel even more normal. We kept talking for hours. It got late, way later than I expected,
And somehow, we never ran out of things to say. That's what made it feel real. Like I wasn't forcing anything. Like I had known her longer than just a few hours. At one point, she said, "You seem exactly how I imagined." I smiled at that. Imagined from what? There was a pause, longer than usual. Then she replied, "Just a feeling." I didn't think much of it, at least not yet. The next day, she texted me again, earlier this time. "Did you sleep well?" I blinked. It felt personal, like she was already used to checking in. "Yeah, you?" "Not really." "Why?" Another pause. Then, "I kept thinking about something you said." I tried to remember what I had said. Nothing stood out. "What did I say?" "You don't like sleeping with your door fully closed." I frowned. I stared at the screen. I had said that, but not directly, not clearly. I mentioned it casually in the middle of another conversation, a small detail, the kind of thing people usually forget. "How do you remember that?" "I pay attention." Something about that response stayed with me, but I ignored it because everything else still felt good. Over the next few days, we kept talking, and slowly, I started noticing things, small things, details she remembered too precisely, too easily, like she wasn't just listening, she was collecting. One night, I told her I was exhausted from work. She replied, "You sat at your desk all day." I stared at the message. That wasn't something I told her, not directly. "Yeah, how do you know that?" "You told me." I didn't. I tried to scroll back, look for it. Nothing, no message, no mention. But somehow, she said it like it was obvious, like it was normal. A few nights later, I sent her a picture, just something random. My room, nothing special. Bed, desk, lamp. She replied instantly, "You moved the chair." My chest tightened. "What?" "The chair. It was closer to the window before." I stopped breathing for a second, because she was right. I had moved it earlier that day, but I had never sent her a picture before, not of my room, not of anything inside my apartment. "How do you know that?" There was a pause, longer this time. Then, "I noticed patterns." That didn't feel like an answer. That felt like something else. That's when I started going back through our conversation, reading everything carefully, looking for anything I might have missed, something I accidentally revealed. But the more I read, the worse it got. Because I realized something. She knew things I never said, not clearly, not directly, just small pieces put together, like she had access to moments I didn't share. I decided to test it. The next day, I told her something false, casually, like it was nothing. "I might visit my parents this weekend." There was a short pause. Then she replied, "You're not going anywhere." I stared at the screen. "Why would you say that?" "You don't like leaving your apartment for long." That wasn't the problem. The problem was, she was right, but I had just told her the opposite. I felt something shift, that same feeling from before, but stronger, like something wasn't adding up anymore. I stopped replying for a few hours, tried to clear my head, tell myself I was overthinking it. But that night, I got another message. "You're being quiet." I didn't answer. A minute later, did I say something wrong? Still nothing. Then another message came through. This time, different. "You always do this." My stomach dropped. "Always?" I typed slowly. "What do you mean?" The typing bubble appeared, stopped, appeared again. Then, "You pull away when you start noticing." That was the moment everything changed. "What are you talking about?" No response, just silence. Then, one final message. "You haven't changed that much." I felt cold, completely cold. Changed from when? The typing bubble appeared one last time, then disappeared. No reply. I sat there for a long time, just staring at the screen, trying to understand what that meant, trying to remember something I couldn't place. something familiar, but just out of reach. Then it hit me. Not all at once, slowly, like something coming back, a memory I hadn't thought about in years. Back in high school, there was someone, a girl, quiet, always around, but never really part of anything. She used to sit behind me in class, never talked much, but she listened, always listening. I remembered catching her staring sometimes, not in a normal way, just watching, like she was studying something. I never thought much of it at the time. I went back to the profile, the pictures, looked at them more carefully, different angles, different lighting, but something about the face felt familiar. Not obvious, but enough. The next morning, the profile was gone. No match, no messages, nothing, like it had never existed. I haven't used Tinder since, but sometimes I think about that last message. You haven't changed that much. And the way she said it, like she knew exactly who I was before I even knew who she was. And sometimes I wonder if that match was really random, or if it just took her that long to find me again.
There are dates you forget. Awkward conversations, forced smiles, people you never think about again. And then there are the ones that follow you home. I met him on a Friday night. His name was Daniel. Normal profile, normal pictures, nothing strange. If anything, he seemed a little boring, which felt safe. After everything I'd seen on dating apps, safe was good. We talked for a few days, nothing intense, just enough to decide to meet. He suggested a small cafe, public, simple. I agreed. When I saw him in person, he looked exactly like his pictures. Same face, same smile, same calm energy. That helped. A lot. Because part of me was expecting something to feel off, but it didn't. Not at first. The date itself was fine. Not amazing, not bad, just normal. We talked about work, movies, random things. There were pauses, but not uncomfortable ones. Just empty. Like the conversation wasn't going anywhere, but also wasn't failing. At one point, he asked, "Do you live alone?" I hesitated for a second, then nodded. "Yeah." He smiled slightly, like he expected that answer. We stayed for about an hour, maybe a little more. Then I said I had to go. He didn't try to stop me, didn't insist, didn't push for anything, just nodded. "Let me walk you out." Outside, it was quiet, cold, the kind of night where the streets feel emptier than usual. We walked together for a bit, not talking much. Then I stopped. "My car's over there." He looked in that direction, then back at me. "Okay." There was a short pause, like he was waiting, maybe for a hug or something. I just smiled. "Good night." "Good night." And that was it. I got in my car, locked the doors, and drove away. On the way home, I felt nothing. No excitement, no regret, just neutral, like it was already over. Another date I wouldn't think about again. When I got home, everything was normal. Lights off, apartment quiet, exactly how I left it. I locked the door behind me, dropped my keys on the table, took off my jacket. Routine. Comfortable. I checked my phone. One new message. From Daniel. That was nice. I typed back, "Yeah, it was." A few seconds later, "Did you get home safe?" "Yeah." Then, "Good." I put my phone down. That felt normal, polite. End of conversation. I went to the kitchen, got a glass of water. The apartment was silent. Too silent. But I didn't think about it. Not yet. Then, my phone buzzed again. I picked it up. Another message from him. "You should lock your back door." I froze. My apartment has two doors, front door, back door. The back one leads to a small balcony. I hadn't checked it.
Not tonight. Slowly, I turned my head toward the hallway leading to my bedroom, where the balcony door was. I didn't move, not yet. I just stood there, reading the message again. You should lock your back door. I typed slowly. How do you know it's unlocked? The typing bubble appeared instantly. You forgot. My heart started beating faster. I hadn't told him that. I hadn't mentioned the door at all. I started walking, slow, careful, toward the bedroom. Each step felt too loud, too clear, like someone could hear me. I reached the hallway, looked inside. Everything looked normal. The door to the balcony was slightly open, just a little, enough for cold air to slip through. The curtain was moving, soft, slow, like something had just passed by it. My phone buzzed again. I didn't look at it, not yet. I walked closer to the door, my breathing shallow now, controlled. I reached out and pushed the door shut, locked it immediately, then stepped back, fast. Only then did I look at my phone. New message. You're already inside. I felt something drop in my chest. Not fear, not panic, something deeper, something colder. I typed with shaking hands. What does that mean? No answer, just the typing bubble, appearing, disappearing, appearing again. Then finally, I never left. My entire body went still. Every sound in the apartment disappeared, like the air itself had stopped moving. I looked around slowly. Kitchen, living room, hallway. Everything exactly the same, but not empty anymore. I backed away toward the front door, step by step, not turning my back on anything. My phone buzzed again. I didn't look, didn't want to. I reached the door, unlocked it, opened it, and stepped outside. I didn't stop, not until I reached the street. Cold air hit my face, real air, real sound. Cars in the distance, something normal, something safe. I called the police, told them everything. They came quickly, checked the apartment, every room, closets, bathroom, balcony. Nothing. No one. No signs of forced entry. Nothing missing. Nothing moved. But they found one thing. The back door lock was broken from the inside. I never heard from him again. His profile disappeared the next day, like it never existed. I moved out a week later. Different place, different locks, different routine. But sometimes, late at night, when I double-check my doors, I still think about that last message. I never left. Because the scariest part isn't that he got in. It's that I still don't know when.